All right, it's Monday morning. People are talking about Monday morning blues. Some are still talking about sleep. So we thought, why not give you a dose of it? As the world races towards productivity, it seems we're all sort of searching for a way to catch the perfect night's sleep. Meaning, just look at the statistics for a moment. With only about 25% of Americans hitting the recommended 8 hours of sleep, it's no wonder that the latest sleep trend, which is called Sleepmaxxing, is taking over social media. Look at it in an Indian context. Well, there is a rise in sleep deprivation, which means that 61% citizens reported sleeping fewer than 6 hours of uninterrupted night sleep, and this is actually on the rise. Last year, this was about 55%, so a 6% uptick from the previous year.
Now, there are different ways that people are trying to counter this problem, from concoctions like sleepy girl mocktails to different gadgets that you can use to track your sleep, the depth of your sleep, to different biohacks. Young people are actually trying everything they can to catch some quality time on the bed. But are these sleep hacks, the ones we're discussing, are they truly the answer, or could even these be backfiring? First, we'll just bring you an introduction. What are those hacks? What do they look like? How effective are they seemingly? Our colleague, Sakshi Singh Litoria, gets us all of the details. Take a look.
The human body needs good sleep to function properly, and people are always looking for ways to improve their rest. One trend that has now gone massively viral is sleepmaxxing, which many are trying to fix their sleep. This trend claims to help you relax and get the perfect night's sleep as well. But what exactly is this trend sleepmaxxing? Well, it's all about using different methods and gadgets to achieve that perfect sleep without any distractions. People are experimenting with mouth tape, chin straps, foot spray, and sleep trackers to enhance their quality sleep according to the videos that have now gone viral. Crazy, isn't it? Some are even sipping on that sleepy girl mocktail, a drink made with cherry juice and magnesium powder before bed. However, experts are warning that this trend comes with a downside. It comes with a cost. Some researchers have in fact noticed a rise in orthosomnia, a condition where people get obsessed with self-diagnosed sleep issues like insomnia or restless sleep, often triggered by the data from their sleep trackers. Now, the term was first used by researchers in 2017 at Rush Medical College and Northwestern University. One part of sleepmaxxing, though, that's getting attention is mouth taping. Influencers are now promoting it as a way to prevent snoring by stopping mouth breathing, which some studies are suggesting that can increase snoring in turn. But it can be risky for people with sleep apnea, where snoring is a very common symptom. Another part of the sleepmaxxing trend involves using melatonin and even white noise machines to help you sleep better. One study happened in India found that white noise improved sleep quality for ICU patients, but some sleep gadgets like fancy white noise machines can also be very pricey, can be very heavy on your pockets, but you do not need to spend such a fortune to try it out. There's also some talk about sleep nostril expanders, which are in fact being pushed by those self-proclaimed sleep experts. And while sleep trackers are popular in the market, they are not actual medical tools and will not diagnose any sleep disorders that you might be facing. However, you can still use the data they provide to talk to your doctor about any of the sleep concerns you might be having. Now, the largest question is, can sleepmaxxing actually backfire? Well, that's the chat to be taken forward by Toya Singh and Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor here on The Breakfast Club. But think about it. One big concern that sleepmaxxing might not be working is if it's causing you more stress and making you lose sleep instead.
Okay, let's just do exactly that. Let's take the conversation forward. As we've heard, while these unconventional methods that we've just discussed with you promise the idea of sweet dreams, they also could, as Sakshi just said, lead to unexpected pitfalls. To help us navigate through this entire sleep dilemma of sorts, we have with us Dr. Sneha Sharma. She's live with us this morning to tell us a little bit more. Dr. Sneha Sharma is a psychiatrist. She's also the co-founder of Envia Healthcare. She treats patients dealing with insomnia, other sleep issues. Let's just go over to her to understand more. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Doctor, if we could just ask you first, we were looking up surveys, studies, and when it comes to the issue of sleep in India, of course, as we shared with our audiences right in the beginning, India's numbers aren't very good. And when you ask people what their issues are, it seems nocturnal bathroom visits, disturbances by calls, messages, using your phone too late, uncomfortable mattresses, these seem to be the causes that come up again and again. What's your experience there? What are the most common issues holding Indians back? Tell us that first.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for having me here. This is an important topic, and we can guess the importance of this just by looking at the obsession on social media about sleep and sleeping hacks. And this is an all-pervasive problem. So insomnia has almost become like a public health issue where a lot of Indians and all over the world, people are struggling with getting quality sleep. And with quality sleep, we mean uninterrupted hours of sleep, which depend on individual needs, but usually range between 7 to 9 hours, depending on the age, depending on how much of physical activity one person is doing. So based on these things, when we look at what are the common concerns that are coming in, one is that people are not getting adequate sleep due to their screen time. I think everybody is aware about it, maybe have personally experienced it also, because a lot of people come in saying that we have enough time, but because there's an exposure and we continue looking at our screens, or maybe we don't want to yet lie down or yet sleep because, the day is ending. So having more control over their daytime outside of their work hours is also something that leads people to continue be scrolling. Of course, the designing of social media and of course the designing of the digital world is such that the lights that are there and the product that is there and the content that is there is meant to optimize viewing and not to optimize sleep, right? So that's also causing a lot of problems with individuals where, of course, as a dopamine reward, as something just to be excited about, you're looking at your screen and you're then unable to put it away. As you correctly mentioned, the other thing was nocturnal bathroom visits. But, this is a thing which is more common in the older age group or a segment which should definitely get it checked, because the younger individuals don't usually face this unless you're consuming large amount of liquids at later in the night. So one of the ways to manage this would be to limit not limit your liquid or water intake in the day, but limit it right before bedtime. Some of the other concerns that commonly...
No, I'm just getting in now because I want to focus on sleepmaxxing as a trend particularly, right? The focus here today. While there are so many, like millions of tags on this in the US, in India, it's, it's only time when this trend will sort of catch up. But the thing with these trends is that some of it actually comes from science, but the management of it is taken to an extreme. For example, this sleepy girl mocktail that people talk about has magnesium. Any doctor worth its while will tell you that magnesium actually helps. But what this trend actually doesn't tell you about, that excess of magnesium can actually lead to more lethargy during the day, can lead to more gastric issues, which can be counterproductive. So where does one draw the line on trends like these, and what is your take? Should one, if not a mocktail, because I don't know, it's got so much sugar, I don't know what help it will really do. So I'm taking it with a pinch of that. But would you advise people to pop magnesium pills to help sleep?
Not really. We don't recommend that on a daily basis. So I think what has happened with us or our generation per se, or the world at large, is that we are not consistently dedicating our efforts to getting good sleep. It's like, having a quick result in a fast-paced world. And while we do that with every other thing, we are trying to bring it to biological systems as well. So we are thinking that, if you're sleeping, there has to be some sort of hack, so we don't have to put in a large holistic effort in making our sleep regulated. And we are looking for quick solutions, which might work for some people because they are deficient in magnesium. because magnesium is definitely helpful. It's a micronutrient, it's needed by the body, but it's not the only thing that makes you sleep. So people are failing to look at, when these sleep maxing trends come in, people fail to look at it as a holistic issue, the sleep deprivation, but rather look at it as a single point, thing which can be corrected. So this is where the mouth taping trend that you've talked about comes in, or even the magnesium or the sleepy girl mocktail. Because if you are not limiting your screen time and you're just relying on maybe magnesium to give you good sleep, it's not going to happen.
But doctor, tell us something like, because we've walked through a few methods. One thing we haven't talked about right now is a sleep tracker. And I just want to ask you, most of us on our phones will have sleep cycle trackers that allow you to understand how long, for example, your REM sleep is. It'll tell you how deep your sleep was. The average tracker on your phone, is it accurate? Would you suggest that people use it? What is your thought there?
I would say that it's not accurate at all. So these are not medically licensed devices. It's more of a rough data that comes in. So of course you don't have to rely on these sort of data, especially on your phone, to track your sleep and then estimate whether you've gotten a good sleep. And I think the amazing thing is that you're raising this issue, which we've seen consistently in our practice, that people will come in even if they're getting good sleep, but they look at their data and feel like, but REM sleep should be this much and non-REM sleep should be this much. And they come in with a little bit like half-baked knowledge about the subject, where this knowledge is then causing them more further anxiety and worry, even though their quality of sleep is absolutely fine. And on the other hand, there are other individuals who would be struggling with sleep, quality of their sleep, but would rely on their data and would come in and say, this is what I'm trying to optimize. But these are not reliable indicators. They are not used in any way, even to look as a evaluation or a diagnosis. So too much of preoccupation with this is definitely not advised. If we need to track somebody's sleep, because there are some things known as sleep disorders, then we rely on specific machines that are available that monitor a lot of other parameters in the body, which a phone cannot do, because it's really lying far away from you and not really measuring all the parameters that could be reliable indicator.
Okay, but can I rephrase that question? There is an entire sleep industry at the moment in India. There are mattresses and pillows that guarantee good sleep. There are rings that I know a lot of people wear that tracks your sleep. There are patches now that that give you, are expected to read your sleep patterns. There are diffusers and oils that you're supposed to sort of put in on your pillow or in your room that will give you good sleep. Are you saying none of these work? Are you saying some of these work? What is a calculated stand on this one?
See, what I would say is that I think where it started from a good place. So focus on sleep was something that, people were not giving. And it started from a good place where people were realizing the importance of good night's sleep. They came in with, different routines that can come up. Now, routines before sleep are a good way to ensure that there is a good quality of sleep. So having a certain unwinding routine to sort of differentiate between the active work hours, and then, your body also gets that message that now is the time to sleep. So there's a thing which is, there are certain tips which are known as sleep hygiene tips. And these are basically certain things that you can follow around your sleep routine to create and optimize good quality sleep. But where I think things falter is that when we take things to extreme and we start relying on one measure or, a few measures rather than relying on good lifestyle measures to correct our sleep. So definitely the way of, having some sort of a herbal tea before, or a hot tea or drink right before bed could be useful, maybe, as an unwinding routine, or having a reading routine, shutting off all your screens, lying down on bed, dimming your lights with an hour or two before your bedtime. So having that sort of a routine is definitely useful. And you can incorporate other supplements which are deficient. But it's important to look at it from a perspective where you're doing most of these things on a consistent basis to achieve optimal results. And of course, if there's still a quality problem with sleep, and if you're still struggling with, either interrupted sleep or you're waking up even after a long sleep but feeling that you're not fresh, then there might be something wrong, which a doctor might need to look at, or other causes of these sleep problems, because sleep problems sometimes don't exist in isolation. There could be underlying things going on with your body which could be leading to that, and sometimes that needs recognition and proper treatment.
Dr. Sneha, one of the words you've talked about, you've brought up again and again, and it's actually a word we're showing our audiences too, the word anxiety. I just want to ask you, the connection between anxiety and good sleep, is it that when you have a poor mental health state, your sleep is going to be unbalanced, or is it the other way around? That your anxiety leads to poor sleep?
It's both actually. It's interconnected. So definitely if you're not sleeping very well over a long period of time, there's a possibility of developing chronic mental illnesses. And on the other hand, certain mental illnesses, or in fact most mental illnesses, would have an impact on your sleep and appetite, your biological functioning. So both of those things could be existing, which is why for a viewer, it might be hard to differentiate what's happening. And if this is something that has persisted for a long time, then you might need to come to a professional to get a look.
All right.
All right. Dr. Sneha, thank you so much for joining us. With that, all those tips over there, the point is very basic. Sleep is a pattern. Please have a sleeping routine and a pattern. That is something that works best. And actually, out of all those things that was mentioned in the Sleepmaxxing trend, white noise is actually one that actually helps. And it works for kids, works for adults as well. So give that a try maybe. But we leave it there for the moment.